My wife is at work show.
Welcome back to the My Wife is at Work show. I'm your host, Austin Todd. This is the weekly variety show for my fiance, future wife, Rachel Lose, for the day she doesn't work remote and has to go into the office. And I'm here. I'm in between work. I got some time to kill. I'm making the My Wife is at Work show. Oh yeah. This week, just to get this out of the way, this week's episode is sponsored by me. I'm giving all my love and affection to you, Rachel. I'm sponsoring you with all my love. There we go. You're sponsored by my love this week. LOL. Okay, gonna get right into it.
Austin's Weekly Obsession.
For Austin's Weekly Obsession this week, we are talking about nothing more than the U.S. Open for tennis. U.S. Open's been kind of crazy this year. There's been a lot of random storylines, a lot of upsets. And then, not a lot of upsets for some people, some very predictable draws, if we're being honest. Just wanted to kind of gloss over all of that as we enter the last couple days of the tournament. I'm sure we'll talk about the finals next week in some capacity. But as it stands now, biggest storylines that have happened so far. First one, Ostapenko and Taylor Townsend. Townsend was called uneducated by Ostapenko. I don't know if that was a language barrier thing, and Ostapenko thought she was saying something else, but way it came across. Not ideal. Taylor Townsend immediately kind of backed it up. Was like, hey, probably shouldn't say that. Ostapenko's like, no, you have no class. I personally don't think that Taylor Townsend not apologizing for a let really should have led to all that. Tennis apologizing after a let is more of a courtesy than anything. Of course, nobody's really sorry when that happens. It is an unfortunate kind of part of the game. Just to give an example, in basketball, when you shoot a ball and it hits the rim and then goes into the net, do you ever see basketball players apologize for trying to not get a swish every single time they shoot and they hit the rim? Do you think they're trying to hit the rim every single time they shoot? No. It's a thing next to the net to make it easier to go over. That's why in tennis we have the top of the net, so that if a ball does get there, it has a good percentage of probably going over. Just an unfortunate reality of the game. Ostapenko did not handle that very well. It seemed like she was very distraught from having lost that match, and Taylor Townsend handled that very well, in my opinion. Hopefully something like that doesn't happen again, because it seems like Ostapenko's getting a lot of backlash for that, and that's really going to impact her image for a while. This did launch up Taylor Townsend, though, because she was more of a double specialist before this. She did play in the mixed doubles with Ben Shelton, her being like the number one doubles player for women and mixed doubles. Also helps. But yeah, she got all the way to the quarterfinals of singles, had 8 match points. I watched that match. It's pretty insane. She honestly kind of sold there to, oh my gosh, there's too many Czech people. She lost to one of the Czech people. Not to generalize. I forgot her name. I know it wasn't Vondrousova. I don't think it was Kudermetova. It'll come to me at some point. She lost to that lady. Probably should have won. And then that lady immediately got killed by Iga, who then immediately got killed by Anisimova. Yeah. So, sorry, she made it to the round of 16. She didn't make it to the quarterfinals. I misspoke. Other big storylines on the guys' side. Djokovic is in the semifinals, which is kind of crazy. He's been in the semis of every major this year, near his 40s, which is kind of insane. I am 26, and I am basically retired from tennis, so it's kind of crazy that Djokovic, in his 40s, is in this insane shape of still competing with these much younger kids that were basically not even born when he started his pro career. Sinner and Alcaraz still look pretty unbeatable, though. I don't know if Djokovic can beat Alcaraz and then beat Sinner in succession. Our biggest props of the tournament definitely has to go to Musetti and Felix. Musetti, historically terrible hardcourt player, really good on the other surfaces for the most part. Got to the quarterfinals before getting absolutely trumped by Sinner, his countryman. And then Felix getting to his second semifinal ever, also at the U.S. Open 4 years ago, I believe. I don't think he has a chance against Sinner. I'm predicting a straight sets victory. Sinner absolutely demolished him last time they played. Give me Sinner. Win the tournament. He looks unbeatable currently. If Alcaraz is playing his best, maybe, but probably not. For the women, I'm going to still stick with Sabalenka. It's kind of a boring pick. Every hardcourt major now, it's between it's going to be Sinner or Alcaraz. It's going to be Sabalenka or Iga. I do think Sabalenka looks pretty good. If Anisimova can somehow get past Osaka, she has a good chance. I do think it's going to be Osaka versus Sabalenka in the final. All right. Starting off with a lot of sports here. Transition.
Austin Sports Saloon.
For Austin Sports Saloon this week, we're going to be talking about how the NFL season starts today. Woo, 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 woo. Sound the alarms. Put the DJ sounds in. Yes, just like that. Today, the Chiefs play the Chargers on YouTube. I believe the first ever totally free NFL game on YouTube, which is kind of insane. Hopefully that continues because there's like 20 streaming services now to watch NFL games on. Expectations going into the season, I think my preseason Super Bowl predictions, without bias, for sure, it's probably going to be the Chiefs again. Unfortunately, I do think that is such a well-constructed team, great coach, great organization. I think if you have all those variables at play, it's just always going to be hard to beat them with all that experience they have. I'm predicting it's probably going to be Chiefs. Chiefs for the AFC. And I think for the NFC, I think the 49ers are going to have a bounce back year this year. I think we're going 49ers, Chiefs again, just to keep every year it's a slightly different NFC team. I still like the Eagles. I think Saquon's going to go off. I think he's early MVP watch just because they haven't given it to a running back in a while. I think the last running back to win MVP was Adrian Peterson in 2011 or 2012. It's basically become the Who's the Best Quarterback award, which honestly kind of sucks. So I hope that a position player like Saquon Barkley can have a really good year so we can give the award to someone who is not just a quarterback. My biased Super Bowl picks, I got the Broncos and the Packers. No discussion. That's going to be the Super Bowl. Calling it now. Bo Nix, Jordan Love. It's going to be the ultimate game manager versus the ultimate risk taker. Who's going to throw more interceptions first? It's probably Jordan Love, let's be honest. In terms of our favorite teams, my Denver Broncos play the Tennessee Titans on Sunday, so we'll get to see Cam Ward, the number 1 overall draft pick, immediately, which is kind of cool. I don't think he's going to be that good, unfortunately. I really didn't watch a lot of Miami football last year. In my personal opinion of college quarterbacks is if I hadn't really heard of you in college and you weren't in that like really elite discussion, I don't think that really translates a lot of times into success in the NFL. I, for one, was not a fan of Bo Nix in college, and still with the Broncos, I'm not like totally convinced he's like going to be forever the best option we have. I did want Michael Penix biasly. I did think he was like really good in the big games that he played. I think that is just a little bit more important to me than like the actual intangibles, just that experience of success. So Cam Ward going to be interesting. Bo Nix, how's he going to progress in year 2? Broncos are supposed to have like the number 1 defense, like top echelon. Hopefully that all holds up. Pat Surtain, Defensive Player of the Year, 2 years in a row. Let's do it. For Rachel's team, the Packers, they play the Lions on Sunday. That is a much more interesting matchup than ours. That is one of the best teams in the NFL, the Detroit Lions playing Packers, who are also one of the best teams in the NFL. It's unfortunate that division is so tough currently because I do think if the Packers or even like the Bears were in a different division, they would be like a number 1 seed team for that division. Like a Buccaneers, for example, who just somehow sneak in because their division is so terrible. It's unfortunate that division is so tough because I feel like all those teams are really good. It's basically like the SEC of the NFL. It's like every team's good, always got to be ready. You're kind of screwed if you don't have a really good record, unfortunately. But I think Packers are going to upset the Lions week 1. Micah Parsons is either going to have the game of his life or get injured. There is no in-between with that guy. And for the Broncos, I think we very handily beat the lowly Cam Ward-led Titans. If they don't, leave it in the comments. LOL. All right, up next.
Lovebirds Book Club.
For this week of Lovebirds Book Club, I picked a throwback book because, silly me, I did not finish our current read. I've been slacking a little bit. I did, however, right before this recording, finish the book. So, Rachel, this Sunday's brunch is going to be a little extra special because I did finish the book. It was really good, really suspenseful. You picked a great book for me. I'm shivering from all my goosey bumps from being terrifiedly scared. So for my throwback pick this week, before we do the book we read actually for next week, I picked The Great Gatsby. If I ever do a throwback pick, I'm going to try and do one that Rachel and I have both read, and I would just like to discuss in this medium for Rachel to kind of see and then share her thoughts with me later or in the comments. The Great Gatsby is one of my favorite books of all time. I love the movie as well with Leonardo DiCaprio and Tobey Maguire. The book itself, I love all of the imagery that it conjures. Scott Fitzgerald really does a great way of portraying, like, he writes words and sentences in a way that, like, really visualize the storytelling. Like, every time I think of The Great Gatsby, I think of the green diamondy eyes that you see over the lake, and you kind of see that big billboard that's in the middle of town watching everybody. It's kind of a personification of class and like how we all view and treat each other, and like intricate little thoughts that we have. I love the characters as well, even though some of them are like really shallow, but I think they are given like a lot of depth. It takes a lot of twists and turns you aren't really expecting. This is a classic read for me. It's unfortunate that it's like gotten basically banned from a lot of schools because of political reasons. I don't think it's like an overtly political book. The main themes are like of basically, not to get too spoilery, but the title character evades war and military because he wants to be with the woman that he loves, and he wants to have a better life for himself than be used as a pawn for schemes in war, which I mean, it is like a crime to like basically abandon the military, but you can understand why someone would want to have a better life and make good of themselves when they came from such a lowly, kind of poorer class. So I think this book, always very relative for times. It's always why they always, have it in schools, I think, until recently, unfortunately. Just because it shows kind of like how class is so relevant in our times, no matter what age we're living in. And just how we kind of as people react to that, and what can be learned from just accepting your fellow man and not, taking things too personally. All right, let's hope this one works.
Sporkle, quiz of the week.
Okay, is it gonna work this week? I tested the screen recording right before this. If this doesn't work, I'm gonna be absolutely livid. Come on. Dog, it worked right before we did this. What if I close my computer? Okay, we let it marinate for a little bit. We hold some space with the computer, and then we reopen it. We try this again. We go Command-Shift-5, right? Shift-Command-5, right? Okay. It's not working again for some reason. I don't know why I can't get this stupid website to never screen record. I don't know why. It always works right after I stop filming the show or right before. So what we'll do, I'm gonna take a screenshot of the image after we're done, unfortunately, because I can't get this stupid thing to work. Might be time to get a new Mac, unfortunately, because I'm not screen recording properly. Today we're trying to predict all the past Super Bowl winners in honor of the NFL season. I'm going to try and see if I can guess every single Super Bowl winner that has ever happened ever. It's going to be hard because I'm a casual. I don't know super old ones. All right, here we go. Most recently, we're going to go kind of back in order here. Who won last year? The Eagles, and then it gives multiple years. That's very nice. The NBA one, I had to go individual year by year. This one just, every team, if the team's won it once, it puts all the times they've won. Before the Eagles, that was the Chiefs. They've won quite a bit. Before the Chiefs, was it the Bucks? You're gonna make me spell Buccaneers? What the heck? Oh, okay. I really thought I wasn't gonna be able to spell that. I have a 3rd grade spelling IQ. All right. Oh, there's one in between Chiefs and Buccaneers. The Rams, okay. And then in between Chiefs and Eagles, that would be. And let's get the Broncos out of the way. Most important team. Let's get the Packers out of the way. They both won a Super Bowl. Come on, man. What are we doing? Between the Chiefs and the Eagles, there's the Patriots, I believe. They've won a good majority of these. All right, so if we're going back from the Broncos won in 2016, the Patriots won in 2015. In 2014, it was the Seahawks, I believe. Yes. 2013, it was we have a little more time today to do this one. I'm already halfway there, so we're already going a little bit better. The older ones are going to be the hard ones. At that point, I'm just naming teams, which isn't going to be quite as impressive, but, we'll do what we do. We'll do what we can do. Between the Seahawks and the Packers, I know the Steelers are in there somewhere. Oh, now it's screen recording. Hold up. Wait a minute. Record. Gosh, there's no way that just happened. Baskets. I guess that person. All right, it's screen recording now, so you get to see the end of this, where I don't know as many, unfortunately. Okay, before the Seahawks, who won the Super Bowl? Was it the Ravens? It was. Before the Ravens, was it the Giants? Before the Packers? All right, I'm going by divisions now. I know the Raiders have won. The Colts have won. The Saints have won. We got the whole recent column done. I need 17 more teams. All right, we got to get back in our bag here. I know the old Redskins. You can't say that anymore. They're the Commanders now. There's no Native American imagery in sports anymore. But we're just going to gloss over. There's a team called the Blackhawks still, so it's still, you can kind of get away with it if you're good, I guess. If you suck, it matters more. That's a whole other topic for another day. Okay, we need 14 more. What other teams have won Super Bowls? The Cowboys have won Super Bowls, all right? Yeah. Every team in the NFC East has won a Super Bowl. Isn't that a weird stat? I already did the Ravens. I already did the Steelers. Did the Bengals win a Super Bowl? They did not. Have the Browns? No, hell no, they haven't. Are you serious? No. The Lions. The Bears. Yeah, the Bears have. The Vikings? No, they haven't. The Saints? No. The Panthers? No. The Falcons? No. The Texans? No, they're too new. All right. Dolphins. Jets. I need 5 more, and we are fuego. Bills? No. What am I missing? There's 5 more. It has to be like a lot of the same teams, I'm assuming. Titans? No. Oilers? No. I'm getting hand cramps from this. I'm sitting really far from this computer, if you guys could see that at home. Rachel, if you can see this, I'm sitting far away. I'm getting some hand cramps. I don't like getting hand cramps. I gotta finish this fast. All right, what have we not thought of? What teams? NFC North we've done, NFC South we've done, NFC East we've done, NFC West, the 49ers. We need, oh, yeah, that's it. We just did it. All right, that wasn't quite as impressive because I could just name teams, but you know what? We were able to do that one, pretty easily. Is that our first completed quiz of the whole show? I did the multiplication tables last week. I don't know if that counts. That was made for 3rd graders. Hey, all right. We just did one. Let's go. All right, moving on.
Music, movies, madness.
For music, movies, madness this week, I have to piggyback off of last week because my obsession has gotten a little bit worse. Not quite Austin's weekly obsession, but it's pretty close. It's more of a monthly obsession. The K-pop Demon Hunter soundtrack has been living rent-free in my head for the last week and a half or so. The film itself also living rent-free. Soda Pop, Golden, How It's Done, Free, Idol. Who made these songs? Who did this to me? Who did this to the world? Why did you do this? I have so many questions for you. Banger after banger after banger after banger, and then a couple more bangers, etc., and then another banger. Why would you do this to me? Go listen to that stuff if you haven't. That for your kids, for your grandma, it's for everybody. It's amazing. Also, I listened to with Rachel Sabrina Carpenter's new album, Man's Best Friend. I don't know if it's as good as Short and Sweet. I'm pretty confident it's actually not as good as Short and Sweet. There are some bangers, though. I would say it's right now in between that good and excellent range. I haven't quite decided for my Baby Butter reviews. That will come on the project soon. It's in that range. It's good. I don't know if it's excellence upon multiple re-listens from the first listen. But there are a couple songs that are really good. Tears is the best song. Don't listen to that one with your family. It's insane. As well, We Almost Broke Up. That's another great one. I love the way that pop is kind of futurized, but also remained nostalgic recently with like Chappell Roan and Sabrina Carpenter and Harry Styles, where it sounds like it's a really old kind of song or vibe or theme, but it's like very modern lyrics. It's like timeless music. Really like it. Go check it out. And then the last thing I will say, I listened to the new Jonas Brothers album. I watched their interview with Daniel Wall as well. I've seen them kind of on the interview circuit. I saw them on Hot Ones. I saw them on like Variety News, I think. It's all right. It wasn't anything really to write home about. There's a couple good ideas. They sample the Bee Gees, or they interpolate the Bee Gees. It was a really interesting song I didn't really care for. It's basically a cover of Staying Alive. It's all right. If you're a fan of Jonas Brothers, I'm sure you'll like it, but I did not really care for it. It was kind of whatever. All right. Unfortunate news. The 2 segments I promised from last week are still in development. I want to make sure they're good and well thought out before I put them on here. It's not because I don't want to do them. It's just I feel like I was a little pressed for time again today, and I really didn't get to flesh them out as much as I wanted to and force them. So next week, for sure, I'm going to really plan these out, Rachel, I promise, and they will be in the show. To give you a sneak peek, since I'm making you wait another week, the 2 segments will be You are being interviewed, so that is where we will interview a different person every single week, or inanimate person, most likely. Yeah, so we're gonna have some interviews. There'll be some nice back and forth. We'll get some, opinions from some other tenants of this house, some stuffed animals, all that stuff. Maybe some fall stuff, some themes. I don't know. The second segment will be Baby Butter Remix of the Week. I'm gonna remix one song that Rachel and I have been obsessed with for the last week or however, and I will put my own spin on it so Rachel can know that I have a part in one of her favorite songs. A little bit selfish there. Anyways, post-credit scenes here. I got a haircut today. Rachel, my hair is no longer super shaggy. My widow's peak is not as aggressive. It will be in a couple weeks, unfortunately, due to how my hair grows. The lady told me, oh my gosh, your hair is so thick. It grows everywhere. And I was like, I know, it's so annoying. Please help me. I need help. She says, use some gel. I said, it's so thick, it doesn't stay though. So I got a haircut. And I also, I got you some flowers. I got you some brand new flowers. I try to do it every Thursday. I know last week we already had flowers from like a different thing we did. I got you some new flowers. They're Packer themed. They're green and yellow. Happy NFL season, everybody. Anyways, that's all the time we have for this week. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the show. Leave a comment for anything you'd love to see next time. And most importantly, Rachel, I can't wait for you to come home. See you next time. Tears run down my eyes.